getting a contractor and an architect to agree that the building is built as designed is really difficult. Bruce, you seem to have a solution for that, or the start of a solution.
The start of a solution for sure, yes. So the designers, engineers work back in the office using CAD tools to design their, for example, buildings, but also airplanes and ships and all that. And there's always been a problem going from what the architect and the engineers want to actually having it built according to the plan, because the people on site have to, usually historically have looked at blueprints. They haven't really used 3D models at all. So not only are we're going to bring the CAD model out into the construction site, use the 3D model, but we're going to be using augmented reality so that they will see what is the next stage to be built. They'll see that intermixed with what has already been built. So if they've got framing up, for example, then that framing will actually be used to determine where the person is looking, and then the CAD model will be used to figure out that camera position, and then once that's figured out, you can use the rest of the CAD model to say, okay, the next thing to add is this pipe or this electrical piece or this door frame, and people will actually see it exactly where they're looking. It'll be virtual, but they'll be looking where it's supposed to go.
And I imagine that's got to save a lot of costs because, one, you're making fewer mistakes, but also you can figure out what you're supposed to do a lot quicker, right?
Exactly. It should reduce costs a whole lot. So the only pie chart I've ever paid attention to in my life was in a talk about exactly this problem, and they were showing all the percent where all the money went, and they got around through about 50% covering all your standard stuff. Finally, the redos, which is fixing mistakes, was the biggest portion. It was 30%.
Wow, that's huge. Now, hammers and nail guns and those sorts of things, construction workers are used to, but, if they have to wear glasses and goggles or even iPads and stuff, is that a barrier, or what have you seen?
I'm sure it'll be a barrier initially, but if it's successful, they'll jump on the bandwagon. One would hope, but it obviously depends upon the quality of the technology. The better the technology, the more it will be received and utilized, and also the value add that it brings. So researchers have been exploring these possible applications for a long time, and it's been getting positive feedback from it.
And do you see it also being used by the inspectors themselves from the government agencies?
Probably, more than likely. Yeah, so the inspectors can actually see the discrepancies between the CAD model and what's been built. That doesn't necessarily translate into a building code violation or something like that, but at least if they thought that there's a significant discrepancy between the CAD model and what's been built, then that would be something they would want to pay attention to.
And again, it would hopefully improve efficiency. So your software, it is software-based. Yes. When will it be available? What's the next steps for you guys?
Well, we're very early stage startup, so we've been in research and development mode, and because that's where you have to begin. Right. And we're now ready to go out and try and raise money with the investment community.
What sort of devices do you see your software working on?
Well, initially, just right now, it would be on tablets. And then that's the easiest, because the augmented reality glasses people making lots of progress, but they're not quite there yet. Although the more expensive ones are quite good. And certainly if this proves to save the kind of money in construction, for example, that people think it will save, then the price of expensive goggles is nothing compared to the amount of money they would save.
Well, and I've heard also, and I get your thoughts on this, is are regulations still an issue as far as wearing, a new headset that might distract you from a,
Probably, but that's the way it always is with new things. You have to work through it. And
but you start with the tablet, though. That's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, that's pretty safe. That's right.
So, Bruce, one of the things, I think your background is important in this for a couple reasons. One, you have a telecom background, which you can tell us a little bit about, but also what you've developed in the past that led to this.
Yeah, so I worked for AT&T for 10 years. I was in research at Bell Labs, Murray Hill, and I worked on a lot of this. I helped develop a lot of this technology that we're applying here. And I've actually been working on it a long time. I started it with my PhD thesis, and it's been used in lots of applications, but the most famous one were the first-person shooters in the 90s. So Doom and Quake and Call of Duty and Half-Life and Counter-Strike and many, many, many others. Most of their computational capability was from this technology, and I helped John Carmack integrate that or become knowledgeable about it. He did all the engineering. I just came down and visited every once in a while.
Well, Bruce, good luck as you venture into this field.
Okay, thank you very much.